All right, today we're plugging into a topic that is, quite literally, fundamental to how you're even able to listen to me right now. Electrolytes. So let's get charged up and dive right in. So let me ask you something. Have you ever really truly wondered what's powering you? And I'm not talking about your morning coffee or the lunch you had. I'm talking about the actual, literal spark that allows your brain to fire off a thought, or tells your muscles to move, or keeps your heart beating in that perfect, steady rhythm.
Well, it turns out the answer is pretty mind-blowing. Your body, it's basically a super sophisticated, incredibly complex electrical circuit. Every single cell, every nerve, every muscle, it's all part of this massive, intricate grid. And, just like any circuit, it needs a power source to even work.
And that power source? It's electrolytes. It's as simple as that. These are just minerals floating around in your body fluids that happen to carry a tiny electric charge. You can think of them as millions of microscopic batteries that are powering literally every single thing that happens inside you, keeping your personal electrical grid online. Okay, so we've established they're a big deal, but what are they actually doing in there? Let's pull back the curtain and look at their main jobs, what they're doing to manage this incredible electrical system of yours. It really all comes down to three huge jobs. First up, they are the bouncers at the club door for your cells, controlling exactly how much water gets in and out. Super important. Second, they create the electrical signals, the actual language your nervous system uses so your brain can talk to the rest of your body. And finally, they provide the spark, the literal spark, for every single muscle contraction, from you blinking your eyes to the constant life-sustaining beat of your heart. To really get this, we need to meet the main characters in this electrical drama. Think of them as a team of highly trained specialists, where each one has a very specific and very vital role in keeping the whole show running. So this chart is a great little cheat sheet for us. Now pay close attention to the locations. You'll see some guys like sodium and chloride, they hang out outside your cells. But others, like potassium and magnesium, they're mostly found inside your cells. And this separation, this inside versus outside thing, it is absolutely everything. You're about to see why. So let's zoom in on the real power couple of your body, sodium and potassium. It's wild, but your body spends a massive amount of energy. We're talking maybe up to a third of all the calories you burn while just sitting still, to constantly pump sodium out of your cells and pull potassium in. This whole process creates what's called an electrical gradient, which is basically like charging up a tiny battery in every cell, just waiting for the signal to fire a nerve impulse or make a muscle move. So what happens when this perfectly tuned system crashes? What happens when that balance is lost? Well, the consequences can be pretty severe. It's like a citywide blackout for your body's electrical grid. And look, I'm not being dramatic here. The stakes are incredibly high. The source material puts it about as bluntly as you can. If an imbalance goes undetected and it's left untreated, organ systems cannot function properly and ultimately death will occur. This isn't just about feeling a little off. Keeping this balance is literally a matter of life and death.
Let's just take sodium, for instance. If your sodium levels get too low, that's called hyponatremia, water rushes into your cells, causing them to swell up like water balloons. Now, imagine that happening to your brain cells, which are trapped inside your skull. It's incredibly dangerous. But on the flip side, if your sodium is too high, hypernatremia, water gets sucked out of your cells and they shrivel up. Both of these extremes can just wreak havoc on your brain.
And then we have potassium. These imbalances are sometimes called silent killers. And there's a chilling reason for that. If your potassium is too low, you can get muscle weakness and really scary heart arrhythmias. But high potassium, that's arguably even more dangerous. It can mess with the heart's electrical signal so badly that it can actually stop the heart from beating entirely, causing cardiac arrest.
So what's causing these dangerous situations? Well, one of the most common culprits, something we can all relate to, is just plain old dehydration. See, when you lose too much fluid, you're not just losing water, you're also losing all those critical electrolytes dissolved in it, and that can throw your entire electrical grid into total chaos.
And here's something you might not know. Not all dehydration is created equal. There's isotonic, where you're losing water and salt at about the same rate. Think about a stomach bug. Then you've got hypertonic, where you lose way more water than salt. That's what happens when you're sweating a ton. And finally, hypotonic is when you lose more salt than water. Each one messes with your internal grid in its own unique way. And you can see here just how much of a domino effect this has across your entire body. It hits every major system. Your blood volume drops, which puts a huge strain on your heart. Your brain cells start to shrink or swell, leading to confusion. Your kidneys get starved of the blood flow they need to function.
And of course, your muscles. Without their electrical messengers, they start to cramp up and feel weak.
Okay, I know. That was all a little grim. But here's the really good news. For most of us, most of the time, keeping this all in balance is actually pretty simple. So let's talk about how we can keep our system fueled up and fully charged.
And the answer, believe it or not, is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Remember, electrolytes are just minerals, and we get them from our food. As you can see, potassium is jam-packed into things like bananas, potatoes, and spinach. You'll get plenty of magnesium from almonds and pumpkin seeds, and calcium from dairy. It all comes back to eating a good, varied, nutrient-rich diet.
So here's the bottom line, the big takeaway. Unless you're a professional athlete, training for hours a day, or you have a specific medical issue, you probably don't need all those fancy sports drinks or special supplements. For the vast majority of us, simply eating a balanced diet and drinking enough water is all it takes to keep the body's electrical grid running perfectly.
So I'll just leave you with this simple but I think pretty powerful question. The next time you feel a muscle cramp or maybe a little bit of that afternoon brain fog, just take a second and think about that amazing, intricate electrical system working away inside of you and ask yourself, are you giving it the fuel it needs to keep the lights on?